Thing I do from morning to night. Today I want to cover the days of Friday, February 17th through Monday, February 20th of 2023. So on the morning of Friday the 17th, I was in the midst of the leaders meeting, 43 people gathering here at our Priests for Life headquarters, leaders of national pro-life groups engaged in 3 days of intensive strategy and information sharing on Friday the 17th. After doing some early work at my desk, began to welcome the leaders coming here. Started out actually with an early meeting with one of those leaders, together with our executive director. He helps us to run these kinds of meetings. I also did work at my desk regarding our bulletin inserts and liturgical resources online for the priests and the deacons around the country and pastors of other denominations. Approving our monthly statement, actually writing our monthly statement for our monthly donors, our prayer broadcast, plans for and work on that. In fact, I taped one early on Friday morning. Working for on getting bishops' birthday cards ready, and invitations for speaking engagements and approvals for emails going out from Priests for Life, as well as appeal letters going out. And the Catholic Prayer Breakfast is coming up, and did some work on the insert that we are offering for the conference bags that everybody who comes receives. Our meeting got underway at 9 a.m. We talked about abortion and the elections. At 10:15, I welcomed on the phone the CEO of Newsmax, who talked to our gathered group. Then we had national to state collaboration discussions at 11 with the group. We broke for lunch at 12. I had to do a Skype interview, however, so I was at my desk for a Skype interview at 12:30. Resumed with the meeting at 1 o'clock. What do we want from the new Congress? That went until 3 o'clock, when I had to go into the TV studio and tape our Praying for America program for that night. 3:30, a little after that, the meeting resumed, and we talked about responding to pharmacy, abortion, drugs. Finishing the meeting around 5. We had social time and dinner with the leaders, which was very, very nice, and lots of individual conversations with them. And by the time that was all finished, I was ready to go to bed early, which I did. Saturday the 18th, we continued with the meeting, and the leaders were still here. I worked on some work at my desk in regard to our pastoral team meeting that's also coming up in a few weeks, and in regard to an upcoming visit by our videographer, and also communication with leaders via email, including those who weren't able to make it but want to be kept in the loop. And then we gathered for our meeting, which began again at 9 o'clock, and we had a good 2.5-hour discussion about points of consensus and joint action. Then, in the midst of that, our executive director and I had a meeting with one of our active priests of Priests for Life, who was also here during these days. And then, once all those meetings were over, I went into Orlando to the Planned Parenthood abortion mill, and some of the leaders met me there, and we had a time of prayer in front of the Planned Parenthood. After that, I went over towards the airport. I had a lunch appointment there near the airport at one of my favorite places, and then went to the airport to catch a plane up to New York to visit with my mom and brother for a few days. So that was a flight that took off later in the evening, and up until then I was doing phone calls and emails on my laptop there at the airport. Got into White Plains, New York late at night, and went to bed once I got home. Then that brought us to the Sunday, the 19th of February. So there I was at home, and it was a quiet day where I was doing some work on my laptop in between things. I had to look, for example, ahead to the June 24th events commemorating the first anniversary of the Dobbs case, planning some upcoming interviews, doing some work in regard to our programming on EWTN. We have 2 series that are running on there, including the longest running series on abortion that Mother Angelica asked me to do. Leader spotlights, that is instructing our team and our staff about who important pro-life leaders are. And so I prepared some of those presentations and also worked on some advertising that we are doing. But in the midst of those side tasks, of course, on Sunday, I was visiting there with my family, and we had meals with them and various things around the house. Went to Mass towards the evening there at my home parish, dinner at home, and then went to bed early. And then Monday the 20th, I was there at home as well. And it was a combination, again, of visiting with my mom and doing various email work and phone calls and work around the house as well. My mom and I went to IHOP in the morning, one of our favorite places. In fact, the same IHOP I've been going to since I was a child. I went there for my first communion, as a matter of fact, after the first communion mass. So breakfast at IHOP, I had actually a phone call with one of the local pro-life leaders there in the morning as well. And some of the work doing at my computer and interacting with my staff as the day went on had to do with the domains that we have for various websites, making sure they're being renewed. Radio Maria, making sure the programming is ready for that. Upcoming trips and the planning for that. Follow up from the leaders meeting. I had to draft some emails and get some messaging out to the pro-life leaders, connect with my staff about the data of those who attended. I had to send a character reference for someone who was requesting it. Work on the pro-life leaders database. I did some of that work directly, some of it in communication with staff. The upcoming Priest for Life travelogue is being prepared. That's a mailing that goes out to all of you about our travels. Dealt with some following up on some more condolence messages, and got an article over to lifenews.com. Got a fax ready to send out to all the parishes of the country. One of our staff took care of that, getting ready for the upcoming Arizona March for Life that I'll be at, and leading the Silent No More gathering at that. Upcoming mailings to approve, looking at various things related to the anniversaries this week of the passing of Norma McCorvey and also Dr. Bernard Nathanson. And finally, planning for some radio appointments for upcoming days. So all of those things went into Monday, February 20th, and otherwise helping out around the house and just visiting with my mom. And we even did a video that you may have seen on some of my social media channels. So those were the days from the 17th to the 20th of February 2023. Thanks for following these daily updates. We will talk to you soon.